My name is McKinley Flowers, Jr.
All right, McKinley, where are you from?
I'm from Alcoa, Tennessee.
Okay.
Born and raised there.
Born and raised. So where did you go to school?
Hall High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me about growing up in Alcoa.
Well, Alcoa is a very nice small city to grow up and live in, and Alcoa Aluminum Company is the center for employment. And I recall working there. They had summer work programs for youth people, young kids that were in school, and I had the opportunity to work there 2 summers, and it was a good experience.
Well, good. So tell us about finishing school and then going into the military.
Well, I come from a very large family. I had, there was a total of 12 siblings, 5 boys and 8 girls. And
What number were you?
I was number 5.
Number 5.
And it was a good, you learn a lot when you have a large family versus being an only child or 1 or 2 kids. And we learned to care for each other, and that extended itself when we grew up to learn to be helpful to others. And it was a fabulous time growing up as kids, and wonderful mother and father who gave us all of the love and all of the basic needs we had, and we thought it was just wonderful growing up as a kid.
Well, great. So tell us about joining the military.
Well, when I was growing up, there was the draft. In other words, you're expected to be drafted into the military. And so I decided to not wait for the draft, but go ahead and volunteer. And as long as I had that opportunity, I decided to join what I felt like was the best. And that turned out to be the Marine Corps. And I was only 18 years of age at the time, and of course you were not considered grown at that time. At age 18 you had to be 21, and so in order to join the Marine Corps or any other military, your parents had to sign for you. So they did, and I find that the military is a good experience for all young men and women to have that experience. And it has some pluses other than that, because at that time, if you served in the military, you got your education, your advanced education beyond high school, paid for, and I thought that was a plus. And one of the things that interested me in doing that, so it allowed me to complete 4 years of college and become a teacher, and so it was great.
Well,
great experience.
Great. So what did you do in the Marine Corps?
In the Marine Corps, I was what is called a rifleman, and you needed to be able to handle a rifle in the Marine Corps at least. And my highest rank was PFC, so I didn't choose to make a career out of the Marine Corps, but it was a wonderful experience. It taught me a lot of basic skills, and in fact contributed to becoming a better man as I grew up.
Now, where were you stationed?
I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and then from there I was shipped overseas to Guam.
Okay.
That's the Pacific. Hot weather, lizards, and all those tropical animals like that, and coconuts, and
So it was hot.
It was really, really hot too. You're talking about hot. It really gets hot there, and the heat here is nothing like that. And one of the things happened was that I had joined the Marine Corps to serve 2 years, but then the politicians in Washington began to squabble about the budget, and there was a surplus of military personnel, and we need to cut back, and just as what happens today.
Yeah, and we're talking about the end of World War II.
Yes, we're talking about 1946 and 7, and so I chose to take the early discharge, but behold, I get a draft notice saying from Uncle Sam, I need you. And I could have, I guess, said I've already served, but I went ahead and served, and this time I chose the United States Army. And believe it or not, the Army apparently considered the training in the Marine Corps was such that I didn't need to do basic training in the Army, so that was good. And then short notice I became promoted to platoon sergeant, and that was pretty rapid promotion compared to the Marine Corps. PFC rank in the Marine Corps was considered a pretty good rank, at least for the first couple of 3 years of service. It was enjoyable. I spent my time in the Army at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and as a platoon sergeant, and that was a period of time when what was called the integration of the military. Imagine that, integrating the military. You would think it would be already integrated, but anyway, I was in an all black outfit to begin with, and then when the executive order from the president came down to integrate the military services, I was transferred to an all-white outfit, and I wondered how that would work. But surprisingly enough, it went smoothly. The only thing I knew to do was to operate by the ARs and SRs. That means Army regulations and special regulations. And they work everywhere, so
Yep.
No problem whatever.
Oh, good.
So it was a wonderful experience there too. And so again, there were additional goodies. Your education was paid for, and I benefited from that also. So.
Now, were you married while you were in the service?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I have always felt that that was not a good move. If you are married and have children, you're already married to the military, so the two I didn't think would work that well, being apart, and so I chose to wait until after that service period to get married, which I did, and have now been married 60 years to the same wife.
Wow.
So.
So, tell me, in your opinion, what makes a marriage last that long?
Well, it's not that difficult, as I see it. If you do two things, you can make the marriage work. The first thing you need to do is to continue to say to your wife, "Yes, dear." And the second thing is to continue to live. If you do those two things, you can make a wonderful marriage. And 60 years of it.
Wow. So, which branch of service did you like better, the Marine Corps or the Army?
Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm. Who had the better food? Who fed you better?
I think the food is about the same.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay, but it's not what you'd find in the average good restaurant, or where you have a lot of choices. But it was good. As good as I had at home.
So when you got out of the Army, did you return to Alcoa?
Yes, I did. I returned back home, and of course the first thing you need to do is make some other decisions on planning, and then after that I decided to go into school, and I did that. I decided to go to the A&T College at Greensboro, North Carolina. That is the Agricultural and Technical College of Greensboro, North Carolina, and I was always interested in woodworking, and so I majored in carpentry.
Okay.
And finished that with a minor in industrial arts and qualifying for teacher. And I followed the teacher training track and became a certified teacher, qualified to teach in the state of Tennessee, North Carolina, New York State, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And but then I opted to go into the VA as a manual arts therapist, which essentially is the same as a shop teacher, except you're teaching these skills to veterans.
Okay.
I thought that would be a contribution to my fellow veterans, so I chose that. And beside that, I started out in teaching in the public arena, but I found that students were kind of difficult to deal with, and my method of dealing with them would not be acceptable coming out of the Marine Corps, and the Army, so I kind of backed out of public school teaching, at least for a while. I later did some substitute teaching in public schools, and after I kind of settled down from my Marine Corps training and Army training, and it worked a little better. So.
Any other experiences in either the Marine Corps or the Army that you wanted to share?
Well, I would say this, that it would be, I think, a good idea for all young men and young ladies also, if they so desired, to have experience in the military. It does two things, essentially. Serve your country, and also develop your young mind and body and soul for a lifetime experience. In a nutshell, that's what I would say.
Well, we agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Well, McKinley, we are very proud of you and for your service in the Marine Corps and the Army, and really enjoyed interviewing today. And we really appreciate you, and just want to thank you for doing this interview.
And thank you.